From Blu-ray on the historic Oxford Square, this is RebTalk on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield, in partnership with Super Talk Mississippi Media. RebTalk is brought to you by Blu-ray, Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. C-Spire, official wireless provider of Ole Miss athletics. By Coca-Cola. Fans, there's magic when we cheer together. Let's create some magic with an ice-cold Coke. Cheers. And by Gentile, the official apparel partner of the Ole Miss radio team. Now let's go live to Blu-ray on the historic Oxford Square. Here's the voice of the Rebels, David Callum.
Hello and welcome to Blu-ray. How's everybody doing? Woo! Man, we got a big crowd up in here tonight getting ready to whoop up on the Vanderbilt Commodores. You ready? Coming off a great win at Auburn in football. Looking forward to visiting with Lane a little bit later here tonight. Who's got tickets to the game? Oh, wow. Good deal. Coach has got them. And we got basketball starting this week. Yes. So we are honored tonight. We'll have her on the next segment. Y'all give it up for Coach Yo. We're good to have her here. We'll talk to her to begin our show, and then right after that we'll have Lane. And we got coming up tonight, too, one of our top receivers that came in from the portal. Trey Harris is here tonight. So we're looking forward to visiting with Trey, too. B-Hud, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. You know, it was a good week. Got another W in the win column, and, you know, we talked about exactly, or we did exactly what we talked about last week's show. You got to go over there. You got to stay on schedule. It's probably still more penalties than Coach Kiffin likes, as he talked about on the show last week. He wanted to cut down on the penalties.
And we had like 4 out of the gate.
Right, first drive. Just, it's like every flag on the field.
Don't remind him. Just move past that.
I'll try not to mention that.
Okay.
No promises. But, you know, it's a hard place to play at night. First time we beat them back-to-back years since the 70s. So all around, a great win. And, you know, that's, again, you check it and you move on, right? You get the W however you need to do it. When we went up 28-14, I kind of thought, okay, here we go. We just didn't have enough time to kind of run away with it. Then they come right back and score. And, you know, the people that were leaving after it was 28-14 kind of made a 360 back into the stadium. Then all of a sudden it gets loud again. So, but overall, like I said, great win. Really tough place to play on the road and, you know, come back with a victory. Yep,
we're looking forward to Vandy this week. Vandy's got some significant players. They opened the season with 2 wins. Since then, they've not gotten the victory, been very competitive. We'll get Coach's thoughts about them in a moment. Okay, tonight we're going to take questions. I didn't ask her, but will you take questions too? Sure. Okay. So
she's a pro.
She'll take questions for Coach Yo in the first segment. So if you want to do that, write it on there and put a women's basketball sign on there or something.
Yo really big.
Yeah, right. Yo real big. That'd be good. We're going to have her coming up next. But tell people how they can participate in tonight's show.
So we got several different ways you can participate. If you're in the room or in the building, you can. We have these little question slips floating around. Should be some on your table. You can fill those out. Bring them up during the break. Kieran will be walking around, red shirt, curly blonde hair. You'll know who she is when you see her. But fill those out, get them to her. We'll do our best to get as many on as we can. If you're on Facebook or either Twitter, Facebook, you can go to our live stream, facebook.com/Ole Miss Sports. You'll see the video player there. You can jump in the comments, leave a question. And then on Twitter or X, you can tweet at Ole Miss Network. That's our generic account. Tweet directly at DK Reb Voice, R-E-B Voice, or directly at me at B_HUD, H-U-D. Those are all the ways you can join us on the show tonight.
And if you're not following Coach Yo, I don't know what's wrong with you. She's my favorite.
She'll interact with you, too. Just tweet at her. She'll get right back.
My favorite.
I'll talk a little trash.
What is the official site? It's called, what is yours? It's at?
If you type in Coach Yo,
it'll come up.
It'll pop up. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. She's got a bunch of followers and very entertaining. And we're going to visit with her next. Are you ready? Coach Yo coming up on RebTalk.
Boo-Ray is Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. Now for more Rev Talk, here's David Callum.
Stanford will throw it in, baseline left. Jones gets it in the corner, 3 at the horn, no good! Seattle, Washington, get ready! Here come the Ole Miss Rebels, heading to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 16 years. Ole Miss 54, Stanford 49. The Rebels beat Stanford, the #1 seed, on their own floor for the first time since 2007. Ole Miss led the entire game. Stanford never had the lead for a single second.
Hey.
There we go.
Graham Doty. Y'all give it up for Graham, the voice of the Ole Miss women's basketball team. Graham's been around, Oxford native, been here for a while, and I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd been through some tough years, too, and got that great call. And, you know, y'all give it up again for Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen. 3 or 4 times.
Toddy.
I love it. Let's talk about that win for a second. I know we've talked about it ad nauseum. It's a new season. I get all that. But as you reflect back in significance, of course, I was involved with women's basketball for 11 years. I think it's got to be like the top to win that game on their place, not to take anything away from any other of our players or coaches or success in the past, but gosh, that was huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Legendary Van Chancellor called me yesterday.
Did he?
Because anytime something happens with our program, like we just got ranked and whatnot, and I thought it was funny because none of my players was born the last time we got ranked. It was 1995. So they weren't even thought of.
What were you? You were real young,
well,
too.
I was 13, but
13.
at least I'm in my teens. Like, all my players are 2000 and up.
Right,
so
right,
they were like, what?
That's
And so we were just talking about it, and he talked about that win. It was just a magical ride for us. You know, they sent us out west. We felt like we were underseeded, but we said we'd take full advantage of it. And we just, anybody that was in our way, we just wanted to take out. And when we went to Stanford, we just felt confident before we played the game. And I just told them, I said, y'all, we're from the South, and this is out west, and we're getting ready to give them an old-fashioned
booty.
Yeah.
And defensively, we were fantastic. Not that we didn't do a good job offensively, but defensively
Absolutely.
was from start to finish maybe the best defensive game I've seen.
Yeah, if you were there, you would feel like from the first points we scored, the first stop we had, that we were going to win.
All right, that was last year. We got to move on to this year, right?
Sure.
Rebels are looking for their 3rd consecutive NCAA tournament appearance and ranked number 12 and number 16 already in the preseason poll. Madison Scott, preseason first team all SEC, which is awesome. We congratulate her. She's her junior year last year was 2nd team and SEC all defensive team, and this marks the first preseason first team honors for Scott. And also named to the Cheryl Miller Award watch list as one of the nation's top small forwards. And Ole Miss returned 7 from last year's Sweet 16 team. And we're going to open with an exhibition game Sunday we're going to talk about here in a moment. You've been practicing a while.
Yes.
Give us a little thought about what you see in this team. I know there's no sample size yet, but what do you like and what you don't like?
Well, training camp has been intense. You know, they've been going at it. I've really been pushing them. So we've been grinding them out. Training camp is probably the toughest prep time because it's 4 weeks with no game in sight, right? And so...
And they get to the point where they just want to play somebody else.
Yeah, they just want to beat up on somebody else.
Right,
and we have a phenomenal scout team. We have about 10 guys that come out, and they beat up on them. But they want to beat up on somebody else and get a win for it. And so, you know, that starts pretty soon. And so it's been great just having all the new faces with the returners and figuring it out.
Yep, and that's the new world we live in,
Yeah.
too, with the portal. You handled it so well last year. Of course, everybody brags about Lane, but I thought that you did a great job in that area, too.
Yeah, I'm
and
a Portalista.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a Portalista.
B-Hud, what you got? You got a question here in a minute, don't you?
We do. We got several questions. Before we jump, we got 2 here. I wanted to ask one specifically
Sure.
about Maddie Scott. it seems like every year she's taking that next step. Last year she was really kind of a switchblade for you. Played a lot of different positions.
Yeah.
Her grind is defense. She's an incredible defender. For her, what is that next thing? I know you brought in pieces around her, but what is her next step to be just that elite? She's already an elite player, but just to take that next step to be, WNBA quality player.
Right.
Great question. Maddie has to thrive in the leadership role this year. She's a senior. She can use another year, but we'll talk about that later. Right now we'll stay.
Oh, we're gonna work on her. We got.
She says she's coming back, but if you're dealing with girls, one minute they say they're coming back, next minute they're gone. So.
Well, if she gets a position where she doesn't, it's a good thing. Too.
Yeah, for sure. And I told her that, but it's her leadership. And then expanding her range. We'd like to see her shoot the 3-point shot this year, but and then continuing to be a two-way player defensively. She's on every draft board right now, but knowing Maddie, she's going to want to go top 10, and right now they don't have a top 10, so she's going to have to really step on the scene and make an impact right away.
Yeah, good question.
Jack Zook.
Where's Jack? There's Jack.
There you go.
Right up here.
Students. Said, I'd be confident the crowds will be bigger for SEC play this year, but what can you tell us about some of the early non-con games to get fans in there?
Yeah, thank you for that question. November 9th, I need everybody in here to be at the game at the Pavilion, 6 p.m. November 9th. We play Oklahoma.
Hosting.
That is a huge game. It will be on TV, but forget the television and come on out for some good basketball. And then we have another huge game that's on ESPN November 29th versus Louisville. And those are the guys that put us out from going to the Elite Eight last year.
Payback.
And I hadn't watched that film yet, so usually after a loss like that, you can't watch the film. So, but I'm getting ready to put that tape in a few. We have a really tough non-conference schedule. We have those two marquee games. November 9th is our opening night game. We really need that packed. We went to Oklahoma. They had fire all over the place. It was packed. And so we want our game to be packed. And then we go to the Bahamas, and we have an opportunity to play Arizona, Michigan State. Michigan, Middle Tennessee, big dogs.
We should probably take a full radio crew to
Yeah,
that.
I think you think Graham needs us carry the equipment?
I think so. Well, Graham ain't missing that trip. But in the Bahamas. But we want fans to come. So far, we got like 20 fans signed up.
Oh, awesome.
They're going to come, and we're staying at the Atlantis. And it's a week before Thanksgiving. And so we're going to have a good time.
Oklahoma's interesting because you're kind of in the gray area. They're going to be in the league next year.
Yeah.
So, it's non-conference, but both schools are getting a taste of each other.
Yeah. And that's why I scheduled a home and home last year.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go there first because I said, let's get them here. I expected us to have a pretty good year. Let's go ahead and run it back. And I'm really excited about that because they have a lot of expectations for them, and so it'll be a top 25 matchup.
Gotta be there. Everybody going? Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Yep, everybody gotta go.
If you're not going, I need you to raise your hand because I need you there November 9th.
Ole Miss
Special invite from Coach
at
Hill.
the Pavilion.
For sure.
You got another question, B.
I promise you, too, like if you come to a women's game, you will come back.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a good time. It's great basketball. Come on.
Kathy Young from in the room.
Where's Kathy? Kathy, right here, front table.
Great season last year. Looking forward to this year. How do we take the next step this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I got, Mr. Rep, he's over coach's retention, he told me. So I signed my new contract. Everybody, I'll give him a round of applause. It was because of him. But in order for us to take the next step, we just have to be consistent. I thought we really did a good job. We have 5 stellar freshmen coming in, that are here. We have one from Serbia, who I think everyone's going to love. We call it a Serbian Mamba. And then we have big-time transfers, that one from North Carolina with Kennedy Todd Williams, one from Florida, their starting point guard. And everyone knows we needed to up the offense. So, we brought in some scorers, one from Auburn. And, we got to be consistent. We ran into a Louisville team. They had been to the Sweet 16 8 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's consistency. That's our first time. So we want to go back and then go beyond. And we just had such a good time on that run. The band, the cheer squad, fans that came. So hopefully we get a better draw. One of our goals is we want to host the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that'd be
in
great.
Oxford.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we want to do that. But in order to do that, we have to be, I think, top 6 seed or something like that. So, or it's top 4 seed. So that's something that we're gonna really fight
for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we're excited, no doubt.
You know, Oxford people will come out for a hot ticket.
Oh, ain't
they
no
come
doubt.
out for that.
No doubt about it. We're going to host Russ College in an exhibition this Sunday, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, a little warm up. If
Admission
you can come,
is
it's free.
And in fact, I think baseball is doing a scrimmage at 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you can
go to
stay
the
over, go to the
scrimmage,
scrimmage,
and
go to
then just
basketball.
come to our game.
Both are
Let
free,
the
and so
kids
you
run
can
around.
kind of see how both programs
It's always
will be.
great
That'd be
weather in
good.
the pavilion, too.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, you don't have to worry about rain.
Then the
then
Kids
we have
Day
the
game
Kids
is
Day,
November
yeah.
6th at 11 a.m.
We got 9,000
Against
kids
Queens.
signed up for that.
9,000?
9,000.
Wow.
And let me
love it.
tell you something. Those kids are brutal. When the other team comes out, they eat them alive.
Oh, I know it.
As soon as they step out on them.
They start screaming as the shot goes
Oh,
up.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't wait till it goes
no,
in.
No,
They
but,
start
and,
screaming
and
shot goes
usually
up.
they don't care who scores, they'll cheer, but we have a committed crew. So last year they were committed, and this year we played Queens, and we wanted to start it off for them. And I thought that was important, and then hit the ground running with Oklahoma.
You've done a wonderful job pushing the program. As the bar gets higher, it gets a little bit more difficult. No question about that.
For sure.
But your determination has been so wonderful to watch,
Thank
and
you.
we wish you the very, very best.
Yeah.
And it is important that our fans do get behind
Yeah.
our basketball programs. Both
That's
of them.
the piece that, when we talk about the next level, that's the piece. When we go to LSU, they got 10,000 fans. When we go to South Carolina, they got 14,000 fans. When we go to Tennessee, it's 8,000 fans. Right now we've been averaging about 3,500. We need, if in the pavilion it holds 9,000, 9,500. If we can average about 5,000, 6,000, that place will be rocking.
Right.
And so that is something that we need, because when we go into those other places, like we played South Carolina, and it was a tie game with 1:24, and Don Staley was almost at half court trying to call a timeout. That's the type of man and women. Look what it's done for football. You know?
It's been great. They
It's been
stepped it up.
great.
We need to step it up in
Absolutely.
all sports
Yeah.
as well. So what are you doing tonight? You're going.
I'm going to the soccer game.
Oh, sweet.
Soccer plays at 7, so I'm going to go support them. And so I'm glad you got me on before Lane. And
Family good?
yep, and we got recruits. Anytime you all see me on campus with recruits, please come up and speak. They love that.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Come up and just introduce yourself. We got a couple recruits coming up this weekend.
Good.
We're gonna have a really big Thunder Kitten on campus
I love it.
November 3rd weekend. She is the only high school female player that's signed with Jordan Brand.
Oh,
And
wow.
she's coming on campus. I want to say her name, but
Can't
I'm being
do that.
recorded. I
Can't do that.
But we're going to be at that A&M game. And if you see me with her, you need to come and tell me how much you love me and the program while she's
Hey, now we can set this up, Coach. Joe.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
give us
In
your
the
map.
Grove,
Tell us where you're going to be.
I hang out. I'm coming to the Grove. I'm going to bring her. Make sure you speak. She is dynamite. And we're in a fight right now with Florida State and what's the other school? I think like West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
she's from
good.
Philly, so we got our work
Let's
cut
get
out.
that one. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We
Thank
love
y'all.
you. We love you. Good luck.
Thank y'all.
Exhibition Sunday. Be sure you check it out. Coach O's going to be on some more shows down the road. We look forward to having her. She'll bring some players a little bit later as we have some other shows. Coach Yo, more on RebTalk coming up.
Hotty Ole Miss. More Reb Talk from Boo-Ray on the Square continues now. Here's David Kellum.
There's the snap straight ahead. It's going to be close. Wow, really close. Ole Miss thinks they have to stop. Lane Kiffin is waving his fist. 3rd down and 8 from the Rebel from the Auburn 12. There's the snap to Dart. Lots of time to over the middle. Wide open in the hands of Zachary Franklin. Touchdown, Ole Miss. On 4th down and 1. The Auburn 29. There's the snap. Fake on the toss. Dart keeps it straight ahead. He's gone. See ya, baby. Touchdown, Ole Miss. So from their own 45, 1st down, the quarterback is Ashford. He's going to throw deep over the middle, and the ball's going to be intercepted by the Rebels at the 12-yard line. It was intended for Javarius Johnson, and cutting in front of that was John Saunders to get his 2nd pick of the year. They actually have 2 backs in the backfield also. Wade's back there. He clears with motion. There's the snap. Dart's quarterback keeper. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Pearson ready. Now they come back in, and here's the onside kick. It's going to bounce up in the air. It's going to be grabbed by Dayton Wade. He catches it cleanly, and that should do it. And that's going to be it. How sweet it is. The Ole Miss Rebels knock off the Auburn Tigers 28-21 here on the Plains. Yeah, buddy. Great win for the Rebels. Our weekend reviews presented by Graduate Oxford. Start your game day off right. Visit Graduate Oxford, just steps away from the university. Whether you're in town for a big game or a local Rebel looking for some pre-tailgate grub, Graduate Oxford is the smartest place to stay for the Ole Miss fan. How about the win over Auburn? Let's give it up for Coach Lane Kiffin. Congrats.
Thank you.
That was nice. That's a place we have not been very successful.
No, I actually learned a stat after the game, which amazed me because I thought we didn't play, I'm like, man, we should have played better on offense. That's the most points ever scored by an Ole Miss team in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Ever,
win or lose.
I remember one year we went over there and Bo Jackson was so bored he had his feet propped up on the Gatorade cooler, sleeping with about 5 minutes going 4th quarter, and we were way behind.
It's actually interesting listening to the radio call. Like I had a flashback. I remember riding with my dad when I was young.
Yeah,
we would listen to games on the radio back before everything was on TV and everything, and I remember waiting, as you just said, Jackson breaks, and they're like, oh, he scores. And I remember not being able to actually see games, which now you see everything, and having to wait for what you said exactly to see it breaks, but does he score?
The real good radio guys paint a picture in your head so you don't need TV.
That's what I was just feeling there. I was feeling like I was there.
You're feeling there like you were there. That's the goal. That's for sure.
Yes.
Outstanding win though. We got Vanderbilt coming up. I know that. One of the keys is to take it one game at a time, and that's what we're doing, but we're in pretty good shape right now.
Well, we got an SEC game that we got to win. So you've been here a while.
Yes, sir.
And what about 4 or 5 years ago? We lost to these guys twice.
Right.
So,
Vandy's got good quarterback. We'll talk more about it in a moment. Good quarterback, got a great receiver, good running back, got some good kids on defense. They won their first 2 games, and they've lost some close ones down the stretch, but they're very capable.
Yeah, they are. And it's exciting to be back home after a tough road game and a tough place to play and coming away with a win there. We're excited to be back home, and our crowd has been amazing this year, and it's mattered, just like their crowd mattered last week. We had 4 false starts that were very unusual because we couldn't hear. It was loud, just like Arkansas and LSU had some issues here. So let's have the same thing Saturday.
Yep, Ole Miss and Vandy. We're going to take your questions when we come back. More with Coach Lane Kiffin coming up. And so we got some here, and we look forward to getting his thoughts. True Care is changing the healthcare game to help Mississippians live their best life by combining the experience of a national health plan with the local knowledge of Mississippi health providers. To learn more, go to truecare.ms. And Country Pleasing Sausage, a family-owned company in Florence, is a proud supporter of Ole Miss athletics. They're in the concession stands at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Just say Country Pleasing, please. We'll have some questions for Coach Lane Kiffin next here from Boo-Ray on RebTalk.
For more Reb Talk,
Without
here's
Bowers?
David Jallow.
Welcome again to Boo Ray and Reb Talk. You can score $10 in bonus points. Hotty Toddy fans, sign up online for the Exxon Mobil Rewards Plus program with the code WIN, Ole Miss at emrewards.com, or on the app to get this $10 signing bonus for a limited time. Ole Miss and Vanderbilt coming up Saturday night, 6:30, homecoming. Looking forward to it. Understand we got a big crowd coming, and if you haven't made that final decision, I brought some extra people, by the way, for you.
Positive?
Yep, I did. All right, let's get some questions for Coach Kiffin. Who you got?
First question is from the live stream. Is from Brett, who says he's your number 2 fan behind Jeb. Which, you know.
Well, I wish my family table was my number 1 fan because, like, I listen to you and I watch everybody else
You got a
listen and
bunch
I
of
watch
folks
them
here.
like talk to each other. They don't even listen to
It's a
me.
family reunion.
I know.
They're not worried about you.
They're over there like I was like trying to get their attention. They're just blabbing. They ain't listening.
You got sister,
they're
daughter,
having fun.
mama. Who
They're
are these
having
other
fun.
people? Friends?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Their own man.
Whoever, huh?
His question is.
Heidi just brings whoever she wants, whatever.
Heidi's gathering
She's
people on
popular.
the square. Hey, come join me.
When they first come in, there
love
was just people that I've never seen at the table walked in and sat down, and I immediately went to the GM here and was like, "Hey, I think there's random people sitting at Coach's table. We need to move them." She's
That's
like,
what
"They
happens
said
that's
they
what
said
happened-
they were with Kiffin."
That's what happens at my house. All the time.
There's random people at your house.
I was like, "Well, if they
Like,
said
who
they
are
were
these
with them,
people? And they're like, we're here with Landry.
so I'm going to start trying that when I go places." Like, no, I'm with Kiffin. I'm with Coach Kiffin.
Try it.
I'm with Juice.
Just say juice.
I'm Juice.
You say juice.
I'm Juice's
Great.
handler.
Yeah.
I usually wear a hat. So the question is probably more for DK than Coach, but you can probably answer. He wants to know, he says that every announcer on ESPN gets Perkins' name wrong. What is the correct pronunciation of Perkins'
First name?
First name.
I think that's really cool. We're in year 4, and this is the first time that the question has not been to me.
Centenary.
Yeah.
The question is to you. Look at that.
I usually skip the ones.
What
that
I
are
like to
DK.
do,
Santorini.
Santorin is what you say?
That's what ooh, now I feel bad.
Sunterin.
Sunterran.
Sunterin.
We just call him Get.
Sunterin.
Because he just goes and
I
gets
put
the
in
ball
green
every time.
on each one of our players. You know, this is what we got at the beginning of the year. You know, the best thing to do is go ask them.
No. Pete Golding, they named him Get. Like he just goes and gets the ball every time.
So his nickname's Get?
Yeah.
Oh, he's Get. Rest of
Yeah.
That's right. We call
Makes
him
it a lot
Get.
easier. Get.
I believe it. Get!
Yep.
I love it.
It's kind of like you tell Juice.
Yes.
Get!
Attack.
The T.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessica on the live
What a
stream
great player,
says,
by the way.
He is a great player. Jessica on the live stream says, really cool to see 2 different guys get SEC honors this week. Can you talk about that?
Okay.
Okay, who was that? It would help if I knew.
Cedric Johnson
Cedric Johnson.
and
Sunterin. Perkins.
Yeah, Perkins.
Get.
Get
Yeah,
Perkins.
Get got freshman.
Get got award.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's just when guys play good and team plays good, then guys get recognized. And so when you lose, they don't get recognized. So usually when any awards or praise comes, because they're doing good, but the team's doing well as well.
Love it. Let's get into some questions in the room. Trip Corey says at Auburn, we were 2 of 11 on 3rd down.
It's not very positive.
What do you attribute this? How do we get better on 3rd downs? I think he's letting you answer. How do we get better?
Well, when we come home, we'll do better because we won't have crowd noise problems.
That's right. There you go.
That'll help. Really, 3rd downs basically come down to being accurate at quarterback, pass protecting really well, and winning one-on-one matchups. So we had issues with all those at times. And our 3rd down conversion, remember, we're a little different than a lot of people.
Right.
Or
I was
the way
gonna
the
lead
old
you there.
school, like
Yeah.
there's 3rd downs, we're just trying to get part of it to get to a 4th down that we'll go for.
Right.
So
So 4th
it's
down.
the more important stat is conversion down.
Right,
so
right.
between 3rd and 4th, do you get it?
One of my notes for this week's game, in fact, 14 of 20 on 4th down, 70%, which brings the overall percentage 3rd and 4th down to like 42%, which is a better
And
percentage.
one of those 4th downs is the holder dropping the ball and throwing it to the other team.
Yeah, I'll
I
take
mean,
that one out. I'll take it out. I'll make the percentage better.
Have you ever felt?
The guy was in the frat house a year ago.
I was gonna
and
say,
now
have you
he's
ever
holding
felt
the ball
more
and
for a
throwing-
human being than whenever he fumbled that snout, that bobbled that snout? I've never felt more for a human being in my life. He turned around and was just like, oh no.
Well, he did not move up the quarterback depth chart.
Definitely.
No.
That was rough. Question from Colton in the room. He says, do you think Franklin will get more snaps in the slot to prepare for future games? Great to see him in the slot on Saturday.
Where's
Gets a
Colton?
touchdown.
Colton over here? Colton right there. Okay, Colton, thank you.
Zakari, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, Zakari battled back. He had surgery late in summer, and so he's battled through injuries with that. And Jordan Watkins being out, which actually has been our most productive receiver when you take everything combined all year. So that was also cool why we were able to go win that game without him, basically. And so we look for him to be back this week, which is great. And Zakari did a good job.
We'll take a break. We got more questions. B-Hud's got some more stuff for Coach. We got Trey Harris coming up in a moment as well. Don't forget, the Ole Miss Golf Course is one you don't want to miss. Be sure you get a tee time. Weather's still holding up. If you want to play some more golf, you can go online at theolemissgolfcourse.com. The Ole Miss Golf Course, exceptional golf, uniquely Ole Miss. They got a great store out there, too. More with Coach Lane Kiffin from Boo Ray on RebTalk. Pretty quick. I'm going to knock out this GT.
All right, I've only got.
I want to see Trey.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss. More Reb Talk from Boo Ray on the Square continues now. Here's David Kellum.
And welcome back to Boo Ray. Don't forget, too, that Gentile is the official apparel provider of the Ole Miss Network. Check out their new collection of Ole Miss apparel available now at gentileapparel.com or at Landry's, which is on the opposite side of the square from us. The next time you're in Oxford, check out Landry's. Gentile Apparel is a proud partner of Ole Miss Athletics. Man, I got my Gentile long sleeve on, my pullover. Looking a lot better than I used to, that's for sure, at least clothing-wise. All right, B-Hud. What else you got for Coach Lane Kiffin?
So question from in the room, I think is a pretty good one. We talked about it a little bit. It said they announced, Robert says they announced at the game at Auburn for the crowd to quit blowing whistles. Did that mess us up? And could you hear them from where you were?
Yes. So someone behind our bench had a whistle, and they would blow the whistle, and then it was like messing up our offensive players.
We heard it too on
offensive
radio.
Players would like go to stop and like look, thinking there was a whistle.
Yeah.
So we complained, and then they.
Please stop blowing the whistle.
Yeah.
They kept doing it, though. I heard
Correct.
it a couple more times.
I feel like once you said that, it's just going to blow more.
Yeah, right.
You're
Don't
just going
touch
to turn
the
them
red
in.
button.
You think Auburn fans will be like, oh, it's not
Because
right there.
then that person, it's working.
All right, don't touch
Yes.
the red
Yeah.
button. You just start touching it. All right, question from the live stream about Trey Harris. Said he looked great in the slot. Are you planning on using him there more if Watkins is out in extended time?
A lot of slot questions. That's back-to-back slot questions.
Slot questions.
Yeah.
Trey Harris right on cue.
There's Trey. Y'all give it up for Trey. Woo-hoo. I'll have him on in just a moment.
So they want Zakari in the slot. They want Trey in the slot. Jordan plays there too.
Aren't most of them interchangeable? Or?
Sure.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. We actually did. It's actually amazing what he's done. His last 3 healthy games where he's played full speed, he's had 300-yard receiving games at all 3 different spots. He's played the left receiver, the right receiver, and then he played slot last week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
Getting it done. Getting it done. 6 TDs.
Sounds like a guy who should come back for his senior year.
I think so, too.
There's a question here about that, actually.
Trey, we got one more year eligibility? We do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Wyatt McCool says, I could be wrong, but I have Trey Harris has 1 more year of eligibility. In the new era of NIL, could we see him returning for one last season?
We should buy him dinner tonight. Maybe he'll stay.
We're going to take care of
To
that.
get him to tweet about it or something so it's NIL.
That'll happen.
You gotta be careful.
Okay.
You can't just buy it outright. Come on, you know this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like it's all the same now.
All right, Will Zook says,
Will Zook.
what's the biggest key to getting Q going early in the game, and how does it help open up the rest of the offense?
Sometimes it just doesn't work like you want it to. You know, and they play to stop things. They get paid to coach too, and they got players on scholarship also. So
Yeah.
it's not that easy. Like, oh, just make this work and that work. You know, so a lot of people come and try to stop him when he's in the game. So we have to loosen him up by throwing different stuff, and then eventually, as you've seen of late, we run the ball pretty well in the second half.
Auburn's got a really good defense. In fact, I thought their DBs were impressive.
I think they have really good DBs. They were very talented, and especially at that place, they usually play really good defense.
You know, to that point, with the rushing numbers we've had the last few weeks, playing really probably better competition, has there been a change in scheme from an offensive line standpoint, or are they just playing more as a unit, figuring things out, and just becoming more of that kind of cohesive, O-line that's saying, okay, we know what we're doing now?
I think they're doing a better job. Running backs line and getting Priestcorn back, who's a big physical tight end, that's made a lot of difference. And sometimes we don't give enough credit, I think, SEC fans to teams that aren't in the SEC. Tulane's defense, I think, is like 7th in the country in defense. Yeah. They're really good. And then obviously playing at Alabama is tough.
We said when we left New Orleans, I said this team is going to win a lot of games. They're very, very talented, good football team. That was a good win for us for sure. You got another one?
I got 2 more. Jake Gibson, really quick, says, will we see more Aiden Williams in the future, and what are your thoughts on him? We've had a lot of Aiden Williams questions.
We've got a lot of receivers here. I mean, that's like every receiver we want to play. Does he want to play him in the slot, too?
What's the other guy? Oh, yeah. Your thoughts on him playing the slot?
No, he doesn't play the slot. But Aiden really had a really good camp, and then he actually got COVID, and then that set him back some. But he's going to be a great player, and part of that's just not getting opportunities.
Braylon got a little action this past week, Braylon Brown.
He did.
As we stay in the receiver world.
Yep.
Last question from Avery Hernandez from Chicago, who is in the house, age 9.
9. Where's Avery?
Yeah.
Hey, Avery. How are you? 9 years old. You got a lot of future going there.
And the question is, Coach Kiffin, how do you feel about this season to this point?
State of the program right now.
Yeah. I feel good. I mean, obviously we'd like to be undefeated, to be sitting here at 6-1, coming home to play, and knowing that we played some good teams and beat LSU and won at Auburn, back-to-back years, 70-some years. So a lot of really good things. Obviously we didn't play as well as we'd like in the game in Tuscaloosa, but we're in a good spot.
Before we let you go, quick scouting report on this upcoming game with Vanderbilt. What are the keys?
To come out with some energy and make sure that we don't come out flat. And, we were down to these guys at halftime last year.
Right.
And last year they beat Florida and Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So we're going to come to play.
A lot of their key players back. They just had tough plays here or there, so we got to play.
Yeah, they do.
For sure. Sounds like we're going to have a big crowd. Everything I'm hearing is in the right direction there, and that's going to be huge too.
Yeah, that'll be great. And, just like the players. We expect the players to show up every week and play really well. And then when they don't, we're upset. Same thing, fans. You want the players to play well?
Landry, is Juice going to go get the tea? Does she know? You don't know, do you?
I have no idea.
He is? Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
Landry's in charge.
Only at RebTalk you find the secret information. So Juice is going to run out there.
You want to know the real story why the poor dog didn't get the tea the one time?
Why is that?
Well, it was a night game.
Yeah.
They changed the color of the tee
Oh,
than
no.
what he'd got before. And then as he's looking right in the light so he can't find it, and it's not the color he's used to. And then everybody, blames the dog. I mean,
That's a
so
human
his
problem.
trainer, Tom, that does all that, I'm like, did you walk it through with him? Did you go on the lights on Friday night in the same exact location? He's like, no.
He's now coaching this.
I'm like, well, if you don't do it like that, how do you expect him to do it? You're either coaching it or allowing it to happen.
Lane's going to be able to work for Wild Rose Kennel someday if coaching doesn't work out.
I'm just saying.
right?
There you go.
There you go.
Are dogs colorblind? Or did I make that up?
No, deer are.
Hey, we don't
Us
need
Southern
you
boys
to
deer
ruin
are.
the story. Come on.
I'm just saying.
Only
go with
B-Hug would do that. Hey, y'all give it up one more time for the head coach of the Ole Miss football team, Lane Kiffin. Thank you, Coach. Quick comment on this next guy, Trey Harris. What does he mean to Ole Miss?
It's awesome for a guy that just got here and set the school records for touchdowns in one game, and really was leading the country until he got hurt, and was really toughed his way back through injury. And he's really awesome to have. He's a culture one guy in all areas. Helps lead the team, worry about what's important, and so it's great to have him.
Trey Harris next on RebTalk.
Boo-Ray is Oxford's upscale down-home restaurant on the square. Now for more Reb Talk, here's David Callum.
Wade wide right. Judkins off the right shoulder of Dart, but he puts him in motion. Dart takes us down. Lots of time. Right over the middle. Harris, he's got his fourth touchdown of the day. Caught it at the 1, spun into the end zone for 6, and the Rebels strike again. Record-breaking fourth touchdown in game 1. Wow. Did you know you scored that many?
No, to be honest.
It was like, wow.
No, once I got off the sideline, my teammates, they all came up to me and started to tell me about what happened. And, all you could do is really thank God about that. That was actually crazy.
Amen, no doubt. Hey, tonight's player interview is brought to you by Guthrie's Chicken at 1506 University Avenue in Oxford. And you can call them at 662-380-5522 for all your catering needs. If you need a full list of locations, go to Guthrie'sChicken.com. And we are honored tonight to have from Lafayette, Louisiana, senior Trey Harris, wide receiver. Led Ole Miss with 102 yards, 4 catches, and a win at Auburn. 17th nationally with 6 touchdown catches on the season. He opened, of course, the career with 6 receptions, 133 yards, and the 4 TDs to break the school record against Mercer. He's on the Senior Bowl watch list, the Litnikoff Award watch list. Has 1,900, he may not know this one either, 1,986 career receiving yards, 20 touchdowns. So he is 14 from 2,000.
Yeah, 14.
Wow, for the career, counting
I did
all
not know
the
that. I did not know that.
from all that yardage at Louisiana Tech as well. Trey, we're really pleased to have you here tonight. Let's go back to that moment, though, and the decision to get in the portal, come to an SEC school like Ole Miss.
You know, whenever it first happened, I was just thinking, like, I feel like I need to go somewhere where I can, you know, showcase my talents on a bigger stage. And I knew coming here would definitely be a spot I could do that at, being in the SEC as well. I knew coming here as well with Coach Kiffin, I was going to be able to have sort of the same nuances of the offense, I guess you could say, with the air raid and stuff like that. So those 2 things, and then on top of that, we also had a QB here as well, Jackson Dart, who I was a fan of from watching last year, and you know, just watching that and having all those 3 things come into play, it was pretty much the perfect matchup for me.
You know, DK talked about all your accolades coming in, and I got to meet you in one of your classes, and you were sitting right up front, first desk, first row. Talk about coming from another school and having these accolades and kind of being the man, and then having to transfer and learn new friendships and new, you know, nuances and different things. What has your leadership role been on this team?
Whenever I first got here, I was quiet. I'm not gonna lie, I was quiet, just to myself. But as time passed, you know, and started spending more time with the guys and stuff like that, you know, they just kind of took a liking to me. You know, having that much experience, I guess you could say, from past years, they really started to respect it, I guess you could say, in a way, and they really started to see and really take a lot of advice from me and stuff like that. And I'm all here to embrace that type of role and stuff like that. So, you know, just go out there to really compete with guys who are gonna follow you and who's gonna really go out there and really just die for you on the shit, I guess you can say. It's really inspiring, I guess.
It's a great question, because in the new portal era, you know, you are a leader, but you haven't been a leader here. I think more of those type guys are going to have to jump in there and start leading, regardless of, you know, reaction from other players, because there's some younger guys that are here that aren't quite ready to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. You know, just going in there with a positive mindset is pretty much what I go into it. If you go in there with a positive mindset, and nothing can really shatter your day. You go in there trying to bring everybody up and just going out there and playing ball. I mean, that's all you can really do. God give you another day to go, wake up. You feel me? So, like, just go out there and, you know, be positive. That's all you can really do.
Lafayette, Louisiana. We're ready to go to your house, by the way. I was down there for a regional. We got to the College World Series through Lafayette a few years ago. Big time food, man.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
I might be a little biased, but
big time food.
Might be a little biased.
All right, we got Vanderbilt coming up. We hit the break, so we have to let you go. Hey, congratulations so far. I know the injury was just kind of a bump in the road. Are you ready to roll the rest of the year?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling perfectly fine, 100%. I'm ready to roll.
Y'all give it up again for Trey Harris. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good luck with Vandy.
No problem.
We'll have some final thoughts when we come back. appreciate everybody being here tonight. We're back one last time, and want to thank Brandon, obviously, Brandon Hudson. Y'all give it up for B-Hud. He's doing a great job. I'm going to move him into the number 1 chair here pretty soon. DK going to be riding off of the sunset.
A lot of sprained ankles for me.
Dave Pulaski, great to hear from Dave again. He's in our Winston-Salem studio up in North Carolina. Joseph Kennedy, our on-site engineer. Joseph had to run up and go do an event on campus, too.
He's everywhere.
He is everywhere, so we thank him as well. 6:30 kick, airtime 4:30 for Vanderbilt, B-Hud.
It's a big game for a lot of reasons. One, obviously, it's the next game on the schedule, but I think the bigger piece is that it's potentially another SEC win. Just like Coach said, you can't go out and take it for granted. You got to go out and play. Just like at Auburn, we saw at times where we stayed on schedule, and you saw those drives where we drove it down the field, scored, exclamation point at the end. We got to do the same thing against Vandy. They will be coached very well. Coach Lee is a great coach. Their defense will play really well. They'll play hard. As you said, they've had a lot of close losses that could have easily been wins. So, again, I think we'll have a great crowd. The weather's going to be great. Our game experience team has a lot of things planned, so it should be another great night in the vault, and hopefully we walk out with a win.
We get that dub. A&M the following week.
Yeah.
We can't
Basketball
talk about that
starting up. We had Coach Yo tonight. Got Coach Beard next week.
Coach Beard will be here next week.
Yeah, so make
Look
sure
forward
you're
to
here
it.
next week to
Right
hear
at the
him
beginning of
talk.
the show.
He's great. So a lot going on right now in Ole Miss.
Chance to see a practice here recently. Woo!
Yeah, intense.
Man, both of them. Coach Yo and Coach
They're
Beard.
intense.
They do not mess around at practice.
That's right.
Practice is to get better. He
right.
was phenomenal for sure. Hey, thank you for joining us this week. We hope to see you next week right here at Boo Ray on Thursday night at 6. So long.